The NBA preseason is heating up, and we already have drama, comebacks, and a little chaos. The Indiana Pacers, even without Tyrese Haliburton, went into Minnesota and stunned Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves, winning 135-134 in overtime. And if that was not enough, in Cleveland, the Chicago Bulls pulled off a tense 118-117 victory over the Cavaliers in a game that went down to the final possession. No LeBron, no Jokic. Just pure basketball chaos from the new-look teams trying to prove they belong. So, let's break down what happened, what mattered, and what these games actually tell us about the season ahead. Tuesday night, October 7th, Minnesota, the Pacers were making their preseason debut. The Timberwolves were playing their second exhibition after a win against Denver. Both teams came in with strong lineups, but different goals. For Indiana, it was about showing they can maintain their identity even without their floor general, Tyrese Haliburton, who will miss extended time this season. For Minnesota, it was about rhythm. Anthony Edwards' first action of the preseason after sitting out the opener. The result? A game that felt like a roller coaster. Indiana up by as many as 24 points. Minnesota storming back to force overtime. And the Pacers holding on by a single point. Final score, Indiana Pacers 1, Minnesota 134. Let's start with the matchups. Minnesota rolled with a powerful but unconventional starting five. Mike Conley at point guard. Anthony Edwards at the two, Julius Randle and Nez Reid both starting in the front court. Rudy Gobert at center. That says a lot of size, three legit bigs on the floor at once. But it came at a cost. Perimeter defense and transition coverage. For Indiana, it was a balanced, athletic lineup. Andrew Nembhard, running point, Bennedict Mathurin, and Aaron Nesmith on the wings. Pascal Siakam at the four. Isaiah Jackson starting at center. Tyrese Haliburton was out, and so was rookie Ben Shepherd. But Coach Rick Carlisle still used a lineup that should open the regular season. Even without Haliburton, Indiana looked fast. Their first half offense was a clinic in pace and decision-making. Every rebound became a transition opportunity. Every stop turned into a sprint. And even with a new lineup, the Pacers played their brand of basketball, running, spacing, cutting, and shooting before Minnesota could even set up. Pascal Siakam looked smooth and in control. Aaron Nesmith hit timely threes. And Ben Mathurin attacked the rim relentlessly, getting to the line and drawing help defenders all night. By halftime, Indiana had led by double digits. They were dominating the rebounding battle, leading fast break points, and simply outworking the Wolves. It was everything Rick Carlisle wanted to see from his group. Proof that their system survives even without their star. What made this performance even more impressive was the contribution from Indiana's bench. Players like Johnny J. Huff and Quentin Jackson brought energy, defense, and hustle. But the standout was Jarace Walker. The former lottery pick looked confident, physical, and ready to take on a bigger role this season. By the third quarter, Indiana's lead ballooned to 24 points. Everything clicked. Their ball movement shredded Minnesota's help defense, and the Wolves' effort looked flat. But then, as often happens in preseason basketball, the rotations changed, and chaos followed. When the Pacers emptied the bench and brought in their non-guaranteed players, names like Ray J. Dennis and two-way rookie Tylon Peter, the rhythm broke down. Minnesota saw an opening, led by Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and an unlikely hero off the bench, Johnny Jevon. The Wolves stormed back. Jevon caught fire in the second half, hitting 6 three-pointers and finishing with 20 points. Alongside him, guard Tristan Newton controlled the tempo, picking apart Indiana's third unit and forcing overtime for Edwards. It was his first real test of the preseason, and he looked sharp. He worked out of the post, hit mid-range pull-ups, and showed flashes of the expanded arsenal he has been developing all summer. Still, Minnesota's defense was a problem. Transition defense was slow, rotations were late, and fatigue showed. Overtime came down to effort plays. For Indiana, Jalen Slauson became the unexpected closer, scoring 6 of the team's 11 points in the extra period. The Pacers, who had almost given the game away, refocused just in time. Minnesota had a final possession to win it, but a contested three rimmed out, sealing the one-point victory for Indiana. Pacers won, Timberwolves won 3-4. It may just be preseason, but the message was loud and clear. The Pacers' identity, run, share, compete, is real. And for Minnesota, the defense still has a long way to go. 1. The Pacers' culture survived without Haliburton. Even without their engine, Indiana kept its rhythm. Siakam, Mathurin, and Nembhard filled the gap by committed. 2. The Timberwolves are still figuring out spacing. Randall, Gober, and Reed together create rebounding strength, but limit floor balance. Expect Minnesota to test smaller looks later this month. 3. Johnny Juzin just earned himself real consideration. 20 points, 6 threes, big moments. When you're fighting for a roster spot, that's how you do it. And while all that chaos was unfolding in Minnesota, another preseason game on Tuesday turned into one of the most dramatic finishes so far. The Chicago Bulls versus the Cleveland Cavaliers in Ohio. This one wasn't just a preseason scrimmage, it was personal. The game marked the official debuts of Lonzo Ball and Isaac Okoro for their new teams, both acquired in an offseason trade that surprised almost everyone. It was also a chance to see how Chicago's revamped lineup would look after a summer of uncertainty. The Cavaliers started strong. DeAndre Hunter and Craig Porter Jr. were aggressive early, helping Cleveland build a steady lead for most of the first 3 quarters. Evan Mobley looked sharp, protecting the rim and hitting mid-range jumpers, and rookie Martas Bazeles showed flashes of why the Cavs are so high on him: length, confidence, and movement without the ball. But the Bulls stayed close. Their defense tightened in the 3rd quarter, and then, in the 4th, they took over. Jevon Carter and Zach Collins led a furious comeback, turning defense into offense and outscoring Cleveland by double digits in the final 12 minutes. The game came down to the last few possessions, rare for preseason. Cleveland had the ball, down 1 with seconds left. Thomas Bryant attacked the rim for a potential game winner, but out of nowhere, Dalen Terry flew in and blocked the layup attempt, sealing the victory for Chicago. Final score: Chicago Bulls 118, Cleveland Cavaliers 117. It was a wild finish to a night of preseason basketball that actually felt like playoff energy. 1. Lonzo Ball is officially back. After years of knee rehab and doubt, Lonzo finally looked healthy. His passing, leadership, and defensive presence gave Chicago a new rhythm. 2. Cleveland's rookies are for real. Martas Bazeles fits the modern NBA mold: versatile, smart, confident. If he continues developing, the Cavs' future frontcourt with Mobley could be scary. 3. Chicago might be better than expected. This was just preseason, but the Bulls looked organized, composed, and motivated, exactly what fans wanted to see after a rocky few years. Preseason games don't count in the standings, but they do count for identity. The Pacers proved they can run and compete without their all-star point guard. The Timberwolves showed that Anthony Edwards is ready for a leap, but the team still needs to figure out its lineup balance. And the Bulls, they may quietly become one of the surprise teams in the East if Lonzo stays healthy. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers are still building chemistry after major changes, and they'll need to clean up their crunch time execution. For Minnesota, the schedule moves fast. They play the Knicks next, looking to tighten up defensively before the regular season tips. The Pacers get a few extra days off before facing Oklahoma City, a rematch of the 2025 NBA Finals, which they lost in 6 games. Chicago heads back home to face Detroit, while Cleveland will look for revenge against Milwaukee later this week. It's only the first week of preseason, but you can already feel the storylines forming. Tuesday night gave us 2 reminders about the NBA. First, systems matter. Indiana's identity didn't crumble without Haliburton because the culture was strong enough to survive. Second, effort wins. Chicago's hustle and chemistry beat out Cleveland's talent in crunch time. And third, preseason or not, Anthony Edwards is built for big moments. Even in a loss, he looked like a player ready to carry Minnesota into the next tier. October basketball might not count in the record books, but it always tells you who's preparing to matter when it does. So, what did you think of these games? Were the Pacers more impressive for their teamwork, or were the Timberwolves more concerning for their defense? And how about the Bulls? Could they actually surprise people this season? Drop your thoughts below. And if you love breakdowns of real NBA stories, not just box scores, make sure to subscribe and see you in next video that appears on the screen for you. See you there.